I always wonder how I could do a project differently than just pasting on buildings. Because I always adapted my work to the architecture, to the building, so the city always dictated the size of the work. Well, in Rio, I had worked in the favelas, covering an entire favelas with the eyes of women from the community. I had pasted the Arc of Lapa, which is one of the monuments in Rio, and so I wondered what I could do there. And when there was the project of the Olympics, they reached out to me and said, well, if you want to do something at the same time around there, it would be great. And I started going there and scouting. And I thought, okay, there's no wall that interests me that much. I wanted to create something that could play with the architecture itself, with the building itself. And so this is how the project came, using the scaffolding that normally we use with the team to paste the photos, but we never used it to actually install the photo. And we started scouting the city in a complete different way, this time not looking for any wall, but looking for buildings and how to interact with the architecture by having scaffolding going over the building. Then came the idea of looking for people who didn't make it to the Olympic, but are from Sudan, from Brazil, from France, and that are aspired to one day make it as professional sportsmen into the Olympics. And then we went and find them all around the world and photographed them to then really match the architecture. So if you take, for example, the guy jumping over the building, we really did the fast buried, so the jump over exactly for the building. Same with the guy jumping, same with the woman swimming. All of them, were shot after we scouted the city and the exact location where the work would happen. So that's how this project happened. And it was at the same time as the Olympics, but it was really something separate from the Olympics, so that they would have their own life there. They stayed longer, and also they would, there were people that were not involved in the Olympics and yet were have all the light shine on them because they were jumping all over the city. So it was pretty fascinating project, especially that we had to work with engineers. We had to reinforce buildings over 5 floors to hold that structure. We had to create this barge of 90 feet long in the water for the swimmer. It was quite big construction, but that gave us the confidence that suddenly, well, there's no wall big enough, there's no building big enough, we can play with the city in a whole other way. And that's what had led the idea of doing the kid at the border of Mexico, because I couldn't paste the wall. And so we used the exact same technique, but in a completely different location.